Welcome to Third Shot Podcast. We hope you've been listening along and also following along. If you haven't, you can check us out on Instagram and Facebook at Third Shot Podcast, or you can watch us on YouTube at Third Shot Podcast, or tweet at us at X at Third Shot Pod. And I have Uncle Greg and Russ, and we are ready to dive into this episode. So let's do a little toast to another episode.
Cheers.
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 Brigie, I've been dying to
What's
talk
that?
to you today.
Yeah.
Oh,
Did you get a little update on what's been happening at my facility?
I heard the craziness that's going on at UNLV Rec Center. Explain to people what happened, because I heard it's just crazy.
Oh my gosh, it was chaos. So, but luckily I wasn't there. Like, I feel bad for the people who were there who had to deal with it firsthand. But yesterday I left the building and I get home and I have a call coming in from one of my colleagues, and she always pocket dials me. So I answer the phone, like joking around, and I was like, "Hey, is this your pocket calling me?" And I didn't hear anything, but all I could hear was a siren that's like whoop, whoop. And I was like thinking to myself, okay, she's not talking. I hear a siren in the background. Maybe like something is wrong at the rec center. So I hang up and I call her back and she answers. And I was like, "Did you mean to call me?" She goes, "Nope, that's my pocket again. But while I have you on the line, this is what's happening." And she said that the facility was flooding, or the courts were flooding, was what she told me. And I go, "What are you talking about?" Because it hasn't been raining here. We did have a little pipe problem the day before, but she said it's flooding and we need towels. And I hear people in the background going, "Go get the towels, go to the janitor's closet." And so I'm thinking, like,
wow.
what the heck happened? And she said that there was a basketball player on the courts who I guess got blocked or something and was really upset about it. So he takes the basketball and drop kicks it all the way up into the rafters, which is pretty high up there because there's also a track above the courts and rafters and then the sprinklers. And he hit like a sprinkler that might have a diameter of like 4 inches, hard enough to break the top off of it, which causes all of the sprinklers on that line to go off. And so water just comes spouting out because the top is broken. So it's not even a sprinkler at this point, it's a hose. The other ones are going off.
Wow.
And she sent me a picture and it just looks like a waterfall coming down from the ceiling. There's fire retardant inside of the water, so it's all black. The quartz are black, like a black puddle is just consuming the quartz. And then she goes, and it's also on the track. The track was like coated in water and it's spilling over the other side down the wall
Oh,
into like the second and first floors. And
it's crazy.
I couldn't believe what I was seeing. So
Well,
today has been a hard day at work.
I bet. I bet. Well, you know,
Yeah.
Amanda, who, our marketing guru, she was at the rec center when it happened. So she was giving me updates as it was happening, and she sent me videos and pictures, and I'm going, "Oh my, I cannot believe this."
Yeah, it was pretty wild. And, to shout out
Wow.
to our work team because they did a great job of getting it all cleaned up as quickly as possible. They called the maintenance team, they came in super fast. And so I think a lot of the potential problems were reduced because of how quickly everybody was able to help out. But in my head, I'm just like cursing at that one person who ruined the courts for everybody because now they're offline for such a long time. And it's just one person's bad sportsmanship.
Wow.
Yeah. Have
That's
any of
uh
you been
that's
that one
crazy.
person?
You know what?
Maybe
I've never been that one person, but when I'm a golfer, right? And when I'm on the golf course, I see some people just acting like idiots at times. Their emotions get the best of them, and I remember, actually, I remember two stories. One story was this guy that I played with all the time, pretty mild-mannered guy, right? He had really nice golf equipment and stuff, and he was just having a really poor day putting. And I don't know, he's usually a pretty good putter, and I don't know, by the 16th hole, he missed so many different putts, and he got so mad, he just after he missed another putt, he just chucked his putter up in the air, got caught, like, 50 feet up in a tree, and he just lost his $250 putter, because there was
Oh
no way
my
he's getting that putter down, he's not climbing that tree, and we're all looking at it going,
Wow.
I don't know how you're gonna get that out of there, like, okay, you just blew it because you lost your cool. And then
yeah.
the
Wow.
other story I remember was this one guy, it was actually a younger guy, like, he was pretty aggressive, he was, like, pretty intense about his golf, he took it really seriously, and he had a bad hole, and he took his golf ball, and he just chucked it as hard as he could, kinda right at the cart. It hit the tire, shot back, and nailed him. It bounced back and hit him right in the chest.
Instant karma.
And I go, "You deserve
Wow.
that, dude. Come on. It's not that
Totally.
serious."
That's funny.
Jeez. Jeez.
Yeah,
Yeah,
crazy
that's
stuff.
I so when you guys told me in the open that we were going to talk about like kind of these angry
Yeah.
stories, I wasn't thinking sports. I instantly thought of my last few calls to Verizon. Uh,
Uh-oh.
I feel like I'm pretty for me on the like, and I guess unless I'm talking to Verizon while I'm playing, I'm pretty mild mannered. I just take it as it is. Sure, if something dumb happens, I laugh it off pretty much, I guess. I don't know
Right.
if I've seen too many things. Um, I would have to probably go back to coaching little league and the kids getting upset and doing something, like throwing their bat or throwing their mitt down or, whatever, kicking somebody or things like that. I think that's the last time I saw
Sure.
that. Yeah.
Did you see any
But
parents get mad?
uh parents would always get mad. That was like
Yeah.
that was sometimes the worst part of the whole thing was just the parents that were not so great. Um, I'm just thinking though, this guy had, I mean, okay, so he was upset, he kicked the ball. He has amazing aim though. Like to
That's
just
what
hit
we
that
keep
one, a
saying is
4-inch
like,
sprinkler. That's pretty good.
yeah.
Yeah, maybe he should try
It
out
was
for
like
soccer.
one of those Instagram reels when they do like the trick shots, it's like from far
Yeah,
away,
right?
they like throw the basketball behind their head or something. This was an incredible shot that ended so poorly.
I sort of wonder about like the legal issues behind that. So who's responsible for all the cost, right? Like I'm sure you may not even want to comment on that, but I'm sure that's talked about, right?
It's
I mean,
yeah, it's being discussed. It's something that you don't really think about until it happens, but it could potentially be like thousands, hundreds of thousands
yeah,
of dollars worth, depending if the floor
yeah,
has to be
Yeah.
replaced. But that's beyond my pay grade. I don't know if charges will be
right,
pressed
right.
or what
Well,
the
even,
problem is.
did if the fire trucks had to come out, like there's reimbursement of that if they realize it's an accident and insurance sometimes won't cover that. I had one time, this is a story of not sports, but I'll throw it out there. Always call 811 before you dig because I go outside, I call 811. They marked where the lines were, right? So they mark the gas lines, they mark the electric lines. So if you're going to do some sort of landscaping project, they will come out, they will mark the lines for free so that, nothing screws up. So I go outside, I start digging because I was putting in a drain and I dig down, I don't know, 2 feet, 3 feet, something like that. And our like it's all clay here, so it's really hard to dig through the mud. And so I'm digging, and then I'm like, I need to take a break. And I would put water in there and let the water soak in so that it was easier to dig, right? So I come inside hang out for a little while, have some lunch, go back outside, and there's bubbles coming out of the water. I'm like,
Oh,
that's not good. And
yeah.
so I kind of, get down close to the water and I can smell gas. I'm like, oh no. Oh no. This is not
I'm
good.
happy you're not a I'm happy you're
So
not a
next thing,
smoker.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. So
Right.
I call PG&E. Um, within like 15 minutes, there's 2 fire trucks, an ambulance, a cop, and a PG&E truck here at my house. And it's a Sunday because, I'm doing some landscaping work. And I start to think, I'm like, wait a second, if I hit this line, I'm going to be responsible for this. There's going to be no insurance. So I asked the PG&E guy, how much, how much do you think this is going to end up costing me? And well, it's like, you got to pay for us, the fire trucks, the damage to the line, the replacement of the line. It's Sunday, so it's all time and a half. I mean, I don't know. You're looking at probably 20, 30K. Like, what? 20,
Was he
20 or
joking?
$30,000? No, he was serious. Turns out that the line was actually punctured. Check this out. 20 years before. It had been leaking gas for 20 years on the side of my house. When they put
Oh
in
my
the
god.
fence, they hit the spot that broke the pipe and gas had been like seeping out. The only reason why I was able to smell it and see it was because I got down to the point of where like the clay was so hard that it was blocking it. But once I got to that point, 2 feet down, it was like easy to come out. And so
Whoa.
it was
Wow.
it was insane. Like, they had to dig down about 6 feet to get to the gas pipe. I mean, or maybe 5 feet. So it was like 3 feet below where I was doing the digging. And so it wasn't my fault. I didn't have to pay for anything. And
Good.
yeah, that was pretty scary. So that's what I was thinking about when you were telling that story of like, this could be a lot of money. A lot of
Yeah.
money to
Yeah.
fix that
Well, what
up.
a relief for
Yeah,
you to find out that the pipe is actually 6 more feet under, so then there's, like, absolutely no way that it
exactly.
was your fault.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a good case. I had
That's
just
kind of
discovered it. And
scary
it's good
though.
that I discovered it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
who knows what could
Yeah.
have happened? Something could have exploded. And then
Yeah.
also, wouldn't that mean that you're
Totally.
paying way more for your gas bill if it's been leaking this whole
Well,
time?
so the gas leak was on the PG&E side. So it wasn't even,
Oh,
it was before our meter. So we weren't even, like nobody was ever going to figure this out unless I did that dig.
Yeah.
It was, yeah, it was just there. We had a rosemary plant. This was the only bummer part. We had this rosemary bush out there that my wife would like make rosemary chicken with the rosemary from it. And we couldn't do that anymore because they had to dig up the plant.
Mm.
So that
dang.
killed that. But at least it also answered my question of why her rosemary chicken always made me gassy.
Yes. Makes a lot of sense now.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
exactly the response I expected from that joke.
Mm.
On that, hey Greg, what do we got coming up on the show?
I don't even know how to transition.
I know, neither do I. That's
I
why I just
mean,
went
let's
right
just get
for it.
into it. I mean, we are lucky to have the owner of kind of a new pickleball paddle company, Redeemed Pickleball, and they have a new paddle out. And so Tony Saatlou is the owner, and he will be joining us right after I pitch. Go on to our social media and give us 5 stars and do all the things that we know you want to do, right? Go to our Facebook, Instagram at Third Shot Podcast. Go to our X, Third Shot Pod, and go to our website, thirdshotpodcast.com. And please follow us, subscribe, give us 5 stars, buy our merch. We're not asking for much. Just do the things that I know you want to do. No, we really do appreciate all your support, and please continue to do that. And on that note, let's bring in Tony. Welcome, Tony, the Third Shot. How you doing?
Thank you. How are you guys? Nice to meet you guys. Thank you for the opportunity. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks so much for joining us. As a tradition on our podcast, we do a little toast. So let's do a toast to Redeemed Pickleball. Cheers.
Thank you. Cheers.
Cheers.
So, Tony, tell us and our audience how you first started getting into pickleball before you decided to make your company.
Yeah, so pickleball, for me, just to give you a little background, I played a lot of tennis growing up. I played high school tennis for my high school and everything. So I was very competitive for many years. Then when I went to college, unfortunately, my college didn't have a tennis team. So basically, tennis now became just for fun and on the weekends with friends and everything. So many years passed by, and last year, actually, I was introduced to pickleball. I had heard about it, but I had never really tried it or anything like that. So I was introduced to it last year, actually. And I started looking into it and giving it a try. And literally, it's like first time you go out there, you get addicted to pickleball. It's so amazing. And I could understand why so many people were out there playing and so what the what the amazement was. So anyway, so that's where my journey with pickleball started, and I really enjoy going out there and playing, and it truly gives you it has so many benefits. It has, as far as your mental health, as far as your cardiovascular, and there's so many benefits to the game, and which I love. Coming from a tennis background, tennis is a more challenging sport. So when you go out there and play, it's very difficult to actually get into it and be more social and actually enjoy it. It's difficult. It takes years to be able to develop that kind of skill set to be able to just rally with somebody. But with pickleball, it's like an instant thing, especially if you have a little bit background with like a racket sport, either tennis or ping pong or table tennis. So anyway, so that's how I started, and from there, to be honest, I just looking into it more and more, watching YouTube videos and learning more about the game and the strategy and how everything that goes into it, and which I love it. It's like a game of chess. So it's not only about your power game, it's about your being patient and being having a plan. So that's what I really enjoy and love about it. And the community is great. I mean,
Yeah.
really great people out there. It's an opportunity to meet so many new people. So yeah, so that's where I started.
Well, we're gonna get into the company here in a second, but you mentioned pickleball has so many different benefits, whether it's
Yeah.
physical, mental health. What has pickleball done for you?
Honestly, my profession, I'm a nurse, so it's a very stressful job. I work on an open heart team. So being in surgery, being in the OR all day long, very stressful. So basically, pickleball gives me the opportunity to leave that and go and play a sport that I enjoy, and just stepping away from that stressful life. And now I'm able to actually just relax and enjoy it and have fun and meet new people. And it's wonderful. So it's
Yeah,
done
that's great.
great things.
Yeah. So, I love that you use it to kind of make some balance in your life between
Yeah.
work, that you got a stressful job, but it also brings like the mental clarity as well as the
Yes.
physical exercise. So it's just an all around benefit. At
Absolutely.
what point in you playing pickleball did you decide, hey, I think I'm going to make a
Yeah.
pickleball paddle and, begin your company?
So basically, again, going back to tennis, I remember like all the tennis rackets. There was such a huge gap between the Walmart racket, for example, versus all the great rackets. So pickleball, I kind of saw the similarities there. My first paddle was the Amazon paddle, which was not very good. But quickly I discovered that okay, this is not gonna cut it for me. So from there, looking into all the other nicer paddles that are, thermoformed, and they are unibody, and they're foam injected, and all the great things, with carbon fiber. the price gap was so huge there, and the difference between beginner and intermediate to pro level. So from there, I figured, well, how about if I look into it and see truly what does it cost, and is it possible to bring a great paddle to the community at a great price where most of us go out there. We don't play at a pro level, but we go out there. So we want the best paddle possible, but we also don't want it to be so expensive that's going to break the bank, basically. So that was my goal when I started researching what it goes into, everything that goes into a great paddle. Talking to different people, watching many YouTubers that get into the science of a paddle, for example. And from there, I reached out to manufacturers, and that was another journey on its own because it's so much work to do that. To be honest, because yes, you talk to many different people, but you have to do your own due diligence, and you have to make sure that everything they're promising you it's true. So from there, I began to do the research and what it takes when what I wanted, and I start ordering samples that came from China over here and tried out all of them, over 20 paddles, I would say.
Wow.
And from there, I had a decent idea of what I would like my paddle to be like, and what features I would want my paddle to represent. And it's something that I would want for myself. It's good enough. I think it gives me the ability to go out there and have fun and also do great. It's a good tool to have. So it makes the process a lot easier to play the game and enjoy the game.
Yeah, it's a wonderful paddle. Bridgie
Thank
and I
you.
have both been playing it, so congratulations on putting a
Mhm.
fantastic paddle out there.
Thank
Before
you.
we jump into the specs of the paddle, you said something about like doing your research in preparation to even coming up with, testing paddles. And
Yeah.
when you're dealing with a different country and,
Yeah.
different, manufacturers of different paddles, I would think that is extremely challenging to
Very,
try
very.
to be able to research something that is, on the other side of the globe, and they're speaking a different language, and it's not like you can drop in and visit and say, "Hey, let's see how you guys build a paddle, right?
Yeah.
Let's look at your equipment."
Yeah.
Like, that's gotta be really difficult. How did you even start that process, and what were some of
Yeah.
the challenges you were faced with?
To be honest with you, I had started the process a few years back. I was trying to do another product, non-sport related. So I had a little bit of experience of dealing with the Chinese manufacturers and how to deal with them, how to talk to them, and so basically just doing a lot of communication back and forth with them. And also the biggest thing was though, getting those samples over to me so I could actually physically feel this paddle, play with it, listen to what it sounds like, see how it feels when you hit the ball, and everything else. Everything that they're promising me, is it really true? And so basically, it was many, many hours of that. And because of the time difference, so there were many late nights that I spent going back and forth with them. But the biggest thing was just getting those samples over here to try them out. And once I did that, I had a good idea. I had a prototype of the paddle. I went with one manufacturer that I gave them the opportunity to build it, and they sent me the prototype. From there, honestly, I gave it to a couple other people that play more pickleball than I do, that have a lot more experience than I do. So to get their feedback, oh, sorry about that. To get their feedback as far as what do you think? What can we improve from this? And what are the potentials of what can we do to make this even better? So from their feedback, whatever I received, again, I went back to the manufacturer and I asked them if they could do, certain things to the paddle to make it better. For example, one of the features that I really wanted on my paddle was having the Toray uh, raw carbon T700
Right.
versus the generic T700. So Toray is a Japanese company that makes the carbon fiber. So the quality of that versus generic, I found out that it's quite big. There's a big gap there, and also the durability of Toray and how it will last longer. So when it came time to distribute the paddle, I knew that okay, if I put this on my paddle, although it's going to cost me more to go with this brand Toray raw carbon versus generic, but I would be happy because I know that my customers will be happy that they will have something that is more durable. It's going to last longer. For example, that was one of the like features that I wanted to definitely have on my paddle.
Yeah, well,
But
it
a lot of
definitely
yeah, yeah.
sounds like such a process. Sorry for cutting you off.
No, 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 it's okay.
Um, what were you going to say?
Oh, sorry about that. It's just I was just gonna say the communication. It's just there was a lot of communication, going back and forth with them. I mean, it took a while to be honest to be able to get something back from them.
Yeah, can understand that for sure. And you had mentioned that was only one of the features that you decided on. What are some of the other features that someone who's buying this paddle can
Yeah.
expect?
So another great feature of the paddle is that it's thermoformed, so it's a unibody. So one of the other things that, as I was doing my research, all the basic paddles or first generation paddles would be that they would break from the neck or where the handle is. So
Mhm.
there was a lot of that happening. So doing research and talking to different people that have a lot of engineering background, so the thermoformed, I knew that my paddle has to be thermoformed, and getting the mold that I exactly wanted to be able to provide them with a bigger sweet spot, basically. And having that bigger sweet spot, I think it means a lot. It just makes it a lot better. That was one feature that I really, really wanted, and also it's foam injected, which just reduces the vibration and everything else, and also the sound. And another feature that I really wanted that going back to tennis, I knew was so important was the grip, the quality of the grip, and how well the grip is made because it's everything having that perfect grip. So yeah,
Yeah, I think you really embodied a lot of good qualities into this paddle.
thank you.
Bridgie and I just had an opportunity to play it, and it was an immediate feedback that this is a really, really solid paddle. You mentioned that, with the foam injection, it's a better contact, more solid. And as soon as you hit the first shot, literally the first shot, we were just, we start dinking, right? Then we do
Yeah,
drops, then we do drives, right? Just from dinking, we're going, whoa, it felt really good.
yeah,
Then the control that we had doing the drops was immediately there. It didn't take any adjustment period for either one of us.
Right.
perfect. Yeah,
And then we were driving the ball and the ball jumps, right? It comes off this paddle really hot, a lot of spin.
Hmm.
So I think, using the Torre carbon, I
yeah.
think really helped because a lot of spin. And Bridgie and I immediately looked at each other after we were playing it just for a few minutes going, "Oh, we got something here."
Yeah.
Good.
Right, Bridgie?
Yep, totally. It was exciting to play with it because sometimes there is that adjustment period that it
Yeah,
takes some getting used to. You have to adjust your touch when you're dinking at the net. You have to adjust when you're serving. But with this paddle, I think Uncle and I both felt that there was like a seamless transition to play with. And yeah, both of us kind of like looked at each other
Yeah.
after serving and was like, whoa, this is a great paddle. And we were
thank you.
playing with somebody new too, and we had him try it and got his thoughts afterwards too. And he was like, "Yeah, I would buy one of these."
And he's
That's so great to
playing
hear.
a $200 plus paddle, right?
Mhm.
And he picked this up and he's going, "Oh yeah, I play this," right? So
Yeah,
he's comparing it to a major brand that's an expensive, one of
yeah,
the higher end paddles,
yeah,
and I mean, he was hitting it. I mean, in my opinion, we were hitting against him. He was hitting it better with the Genesis paddle
Yeah.
than his own paddle.
That's wonderful to hear. Yeah, and that was my goal, to be able to provide that to everyone out there. So I'm so glad you guys liked it. Thank you for giving it a try. It means a lot.
What's the feedback that
Absolutely.
you're getting from other players?
Same thing. I'm getting the same thing, and a lot of, actually, I've had it. I did send it to a couple people that are actually on pro level. Um, and they both gave me the same feedback, that this really does compare to your top paddles, which are $200+ basically. And they were both very, very impressed by, exactly what you guys said. They quickly adjusted to it. It wasn't something, didn't have a huge learning curve, or it takes a few days to get used to it. And they were also very impressed by the power, the pop, the control, the spin. So basically, I've been getting the same feedbacks from, almost everybody that, I've been, sending it out to and asking for their feedbacks.
Well, that's huge. And Uncle said it before, but congratulations on making such a great paddle. I
Thank
think
you.
our listeners will definitely be interested in checking it out. What's
Absolutely.
next for Redeemed Pickleball?
Redeemed. So next is to be able to distribute it as much as possible. Also, our goal is to come up with our next paddle. Um, haven't started looking into that too much yet. I have an idea of where I want to go next, but that'll definitely be our next thing. And also, Redeemed. As a brand, I didn't get into this at the beginning, but Redeem. The reason we named it Redeem was because of my wife and I are Christians, so we wanted to name it something that has a meaning to us and to our community and everything. And basically, redeemed is what God did for us through His Son, Jesus Christ. And in Genesis, which is, it means in the beginning, so that's why we named the paddle Genesis, because it's our first one. It's at the beginning. So that's why we named it Redeemed. And but for the brand, to be honest with you, we do have goals to give back to the community as much as possible. And an area that we're really passionate about, my wife and I, is fighting against human trafficking, for example.
Mhm.
That's an area that it means a lot to us, that we have to defeat it, and we really want to be able to give back from our profits to that organization, for those organizations that are out there fighting against the evil, basically.
Yeah.
So those are our goals outside of the pickleball community. But again, my goal is to give the best paddle that I can to the people that I play with, to the people that are following me, and to you guys. And also, my goal is not to charge an amount that will basically not allow everybody to have it. I want to be able to offer it at a price, at a reasonable price, where most everybody can afford it. So, and having that great tool in your hand when you go out there to play, to have fun, it will make your experience more enjoyable. So,
Oh, that's
yeah,
that's really noble of you to do that, and
yeah,
you have produced a fantastic paddle at an amazing price point, and then
yeah.
you're taking it even a step further for our audience. You're offering a discount code.
Yes. Yes, we are offering a discount code for your amazing audience. Third shot 10. If they go to our website, put that in there, they will receive an additional $10 off on top of whatever the price is.
And that's the number 10. So when people go
Number
on
10.
to third
Yeah.
shot, the number 1010,
Yes.
they're going to
Yes.
get $10 off. And I highly recommend them taking advantage of that offer, because basically at that, with the offer, you're under $100
Yes.
on an amazing paddle that
Yes.
Bridgie and I really, I think everybody's going to really fall in love with very quickly. And then the other thing, Tony, you had mentioned when we were talking before, is you offer a warranty as well.
Yes, we definitely offer warranty. Right now, we're offering 3 months warranty. So if anything that happens that is manufacturing error or anything, we'll definitely take it back. And on top of that, we're offering 30 days money back, no questions asked. Um, you guys can try it, give it a try, take it to the courts for 25, 30 days, whatever you want. If you're not 100% satisfied, just send it back to us and we'll refund your money and we'll still be friends and we'll move on from there. But I just want people to be satisfied with the paddle. I don't want them to be stuck with a paddle that they're not happy with. So that's
Yes.
why I'm trying to do whatever I can to put this in their hands and have a happy pickleballer out there.
Yeah, I think they will be super happy with it. It's such a great deal, so don't pass up on it. Where can they go to check out the specs and to purchase one of these?
Yeah, my website is redeemedpickleball.com. There they could find all the information about the paddle. We do have few also t-shirts and everything that we offer on the website also. That's probably the best place to get it. And if there's questions, they could also always reach out to us. On Instagram, which is probably the area that I'm most involved in right now, social media wise, it's redeemed.pb.
Wonderful. Thank you, Tony, for coming on and sharing everything about your journey as well as the new Genesis paddle that I'm sure people are going to take advantage of, and I think it's going to kind of change how people look at paddles in the
Yeah,
sense that you don't have to spend $1 million to get something of really high quality. And
right.
I appreciate what you're doing.
My pleasure. Thank you again for the opportunity.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Tony.
Tony.
On that note, let's take one last toast to
All right.
everything that you've done so far and the
Thank you.
future of Redeemed Pickleball.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers. And thank you, everybody, for joining Third Shot, where Brigie and I will continue to share our pickleball journey. Special thanks to Tony for joining us today. Please go to his website, redeemedpickleball.com, and check out his Instagram, some really cool posts, some different testimonials on his Instagram account. That's always fun. And please use your discount code, Third Shot, and the number 10. Get $10 off paddle. Get this wonderful Genesis paddle for under $100. You will not believe how good of a value you are getting when you get this paddle in your hands. You can support this show by subscribing, and we promise to have more amazing guests just like Tony on future episodes of Third Shot Podcast. So let's continue to share our enjoyment for the game and grow this pickleball community together. See you next time on Third Shot Podcast.